friends, my name is Shayla. Today I'm here to talk about my top 5 manga series that I have started in the year of 2019. So you guys know that I am consuming manga at an insane rate this year. I can't even hardly believe it myself. And I just wanted to talk about kind of the cream of the crop for me so far this year. I've started a lot of new series and I have 5 that have stood out to me. I will have one honorable mention because the 5 that I've chosen, I'm current on all of them. Like, I'm current on their publish, or if they're complete, I have completed them. I'm going to do that. And then the honorable mention, I've only read the first 3 volumes of this series so far, and 10 are currently published. So that's why it's an honorable mention. So we'll start with the honorable mention, and a cat is deciding to rub himself all over my tripod, so I apologize in advance. But my honorable mention is Requiem of the Rose King. This series is continuing to blow my mind. So in this series, we follow Richard. Richard is a adopted child of a royal family, and Richard is in the middle of this political war for the throne, essentially. One family feels like they belong on the throne, but Richard's family is on the throne. Richard's family is fighting for the throne when there's another family there, and there's connections with Richard and other people in this family unbeknownst to Richard. Richard has secrets. Richard has been called a demon all of their life, but Richard is not necessarily a demon. Richard's just different. And in this medieval time setting, that is something that people will automatically say demon and kill, and Richard was basically thrown out by his own family and brought in by this other. So anyways, it's fantastic. It is political maneuvering and manipulation to the nth degree. I'm just madly in love with this already. I really think this is pretty romance low. It's much more focused on the political plot and Richard figuring out their place in the world. So I do think guys would like this, even though it's a shoujo. But this is a darker, gritty, not pulling its punches kind of series. So I do think that guys will like it. So everybody should be reading Requiem of the Rose King. So now let's get into the fluffier things that make my heart very, very happy. These are not in any particular order. These are just some of my new favorites, and I wanted to share them with you in this one video. So first up, we're going to talk about Dengeki Daisy. Dengeki Daisy is an age gap romance. You're going to notice a trend with most of these. I think 3 of them are age gap romances, so I apologize in advance if that's not your thing. But in this, we follow Teru, and Teru is a teenage girl who lost her brother to cancer. And as he was hospitalized shortly before his death, he hands her a phone and says, if you're ever sad or you need anything, contact Daisy. What she doesn't know Daisy's identity. She continues to message Daisy, and Daisy sends all of this encouragement and love her way. One day at school, she accidentally throws a baseball through a window, and the custodian here, Kurosaki, has to clean it up, and he decides that she has to work off what he has to pay out for the window. So she starts working with him on keeping the grounds clean and everything. He calls her a slave, but he's not really. She's just doing yard work, and he's there to kind of supervise as he's the adult. Anyway, so this is about Kurosaki and Teru forming a friendship and later relationship and things like that. There's a lot more secrets. It's much more involved and more intense that way. This deals with cyber hacking and things like that as well, and lots of, government secrets, all that kind of stuff. It's really good. I highly recommend it. It's 16 volumes long. I have read all 16 volumes this year. It's amazing. Go read Dengeki Daisy already. I'm sick of telling you to. Next, this one, no one will be surprised it is on this list, and that is Yona of the Dawn. I have a whole video dedicated to fangirling about Yona of the Dawn. So essentially, in this story, this isn't a Yona-centered cover. This is one of our other characters, Zero. But Yona is a red-haired princess, which is kind of a trope in manga. She is 16. On her 16th birthday, she's going to tell her father that she wants to marry her cousin, Suwon. Yes, her cousin. But stay with me here. What happens is she walks in on Suwon murdering her father. And from there, she has to go on the run with the captain of the guard, Hawk, and they go on an adventure and they find people to help her take back her kingdom. And Yona's journey is amazing. Yona grows insanely. Like, the Yona you meet in volume 1 and the Yona you have by volume 3 are two very different girls. So know that if you don't necessarily love her character in the first volume, she changes pretty quickly. A lot of people wonder why she wants to marry Suwon. I think the author chose to do that because that shows how small Yona's world is at the beginning of the story. As she grows and goes on this journey, her world opens up immensely to a degree she never thought it would. And because she was always just sheltered in the palace with her father. She didn't really venture out ever because her father was very protective. So as her world opens, she realizes that Suwon might not be who she really wanted or had feelings for. So know that the cousin thing will pop up occasionally, but it's not the main focus of the story. This is much more a politically driven, maneuvering, trying to better a kingdom kind of story. It's fantastic. Again, I think guys will like this one. The romance really, outside of the first volume or two, does kind of sit in the background and it'll just kind of occasionally pop in. But, you know, it's usually much more about what's actually going on around them and stuff. And yeah, the guys all think Yona's great and they have reasons to be attached to Yona, but I'm not going to give you all of that. But essentially, this is a journey, coming of age, political style story. I think everybody should be reading it. Again, check my video if you want more fangirling, because apparently that's all I do on this channel lately with manga. Alright, the next one is another age gap romance, and that is After the Rain. This is actually a seinen manga, which surprised me that I ended up liking. This is about a 17-year-old Akira Tachibana pursuing romantically her 45-year-old divorced with a kid boss. And it's about much more than that. It's really about Tachibana and who she is as a person, and then her boss, what's his name? I forget. Anyways, it's about her boss and who he is as a person and how their interactions together change their lives. Full disclosure, 4 of these volumes have been published. The 5th one comes out soon. I don't think they're going to end up together, if I'm honest. So I'm going to tell you that right now. I think that even if he does really have feelings for her, I think he's going to let her go and let her live her life. I don't think he's going to try to tie her down to him. That's just my instinct from the way the story has gone to this point. Like I say, there are 4 of these out. There's only 1 more to come. The 5th one is the final one. And I know there's an anime for this, so if you want to know the ending, you can just go watch the anime. But the art in this is so stinking beautiful. There, that doesn't give any spoilers. But, like, it's very detailed. It's very beautiful. I think Tachibana is a total babe. Like, check out this series. Another one that no one will be surprised on this list. This volume in my hand was actually the first volume of manga, the first thing that I read in the year of 2019. I'm so glad I started my year out with this, and that is Tokyo Terror Girls. Tokyo Terror Girls is the second series published by Akiko Higashimura in the US. This is about 3 33-year-old women who are failing at the love scene of their lives, and they're realizing that they're kind of past their prime at this point. Their dating circles are much smaller, and they didn't realize quite how small they really were because they spent so much time hanging out at a pub, drinking, and complaining. So this is a journey about these 3 women trying to find love by the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. And it's absolutely fantastic. This story sounds very superficial on that description, but it is so much deeper. It is about these women learning what they need and want out of life, and being someone who went through a journey older than most people. I was in my late 20s when I did this, but learning what I needed and wanted out of life and changing my life in a way that I could get what I needed and wanted out of life. This strikes a chord and resonates with me on such an intimate and deep level that it's hard for me to even articulate when I talk about it. All of that is wrapped up in Akiko Higashimura's adorable art style, her amazing humor, and it is just phenomenal. The last 3 volumes, 4, 5, or 5, 6, and 7, I have cried as I've read, because this is so deep and intense and beautiful to me. I really want you all to please try Tokyo Terror Girls. And last but not least on this list is another one that will not be surprising anybody, and that is A Bride's Story by Kaoru Mori. This is one of the most stunning manga I have ever read. This is a historical manga about a 20-year-old woman and a 12-year-old groom, which in their day and age is completely legal and acceptable. I want that to be clear right from the get-go. And I'm also going to be very clear that 10 volumes in, the most they've done is kiss. Like, they're not, you know, she's not sleeping, like, sexually sleeping with a 12-year-old. I'm making that very clear right now. Even though in their day and age it would be totally acceptable for them to do that, she wants him to grow. He wants to prove himself as a man to her. All those kinds of things. So know that going in. You're not going to be getting a lot of that. That kind of content will come from other places. But this is essentially just a story about a group of people in a part of the world in a period of time. This is a period drama, I guess, is the best way to kind of describe this. This is our core coupling that we follow, but it is really just so much more than that. I mean, there's a whole volume dedicated to a female-female romance, essentially, in this series, and it's beautiful and stunning. In the art style, it is very adult. You will see boobs, just being real with that. So if that is not your thing, give this series a hard pass, but I really love it in spite of that. And it's not an over-sexualized thing. It's usually as they're bathing or in the volume with the female-female romance. Technically, it's a group bathing kind of situation where that's where the women kind of connect and form friendships, and it's just something culturally that they do. So as I read it, that I wasn't necessarily pulled out of the story by those elements. So just know that it's just kind of intrinsically part of the story, and it's just kind of what's going to happen. It's not necessarily over-sexualized or anything that's going to be a huge problem, but I do really hope you guys will pick this up despite of that. Again, this is another seinen series that really ended up surprising me this year. So friends, that's the list, and they're upside down. Let's try that again. So friends, that's my list. These are some amazing manga series that I've started this year. My 5 favorites and an honorable mention because I think everybody should be reading it. Thank you all so much for all the love and the support you've been showing the channel. And I love and adore each and every one of you. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you. So I hope with all of my heart that I'm giving you the kind of content that you continue to enjoy. And let me know in the comments down below what your favorite manga series you've started this year is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.